modern geopolitics, road, railways, ports are not just infrastructure. These are the instruments of strategic influence. And a prime example here is the proposed China-Myanmar-Bangladesh economic corridor, where it is going to raise a lot of concerns for India, but at the same time, it is going to give China the access to Bay of Bengal after it got the access to Arabian Sea via China-Pakistan economic corridor. Hello everyone, welcome to Vajram and Ravi's Flash News. My name is Shubhangi Singh, and in today's session we are going to understand that how China is going beyond and putting all its means, especially towards the string of pearls strategy encircling India and the new way to mark its presence not just in Indian Ocean but in the Indo-Pacific is this CMB economic corridor, because this might be China's way of putting more instruments of strategic influence at work, but this is something that India needs to comprehend well in time and also counter. So let us begin from understanding from scratch. So let us understand what exactly has happened. So recently Bangladesh's new Prime Minister Tariq Rahman has gone to Beijing and the meeting has happened. One of the primary things that happened day before yesterday, we talked about in detail how Mongla port has been given for development to China. Since 2015 it was with India, and this is a cause of worry. Now this proposed project of China, Myanmar and Bangladesh economic corridor is going to be an added point in that very list. Because when we see here, what we are seeing is that China has revived the idea of China-Myanmar-Bangladesh economic corridor. Now why I am specifically using the word revived is because this idea did exist previously, but before this, when it was proposed, it was the idea of BCIM. That was Bangladesh, China, India-Myanmar corridor, which was supposed to start from Kunming region, then Mandalay in Myanmar, Dhaka and connectivity to Kolkata. That is why we are saying that this conversation, this economic corridor has been revived, and particularly India has been left out. And what does this economic corridor give? This economic corridor facilitates the direct connectivity from Kunming to Bay of Bengal. Now this whole route is starting from Kunming, then Mandalay, and then it comes to the Kyaukphyu, that which is a deep sea port, and the other one goes towards Yangon. In this particular proposal itself, the connectivity we have to understand, but you have to understand that this region that we are talking about is Bay of Bengal. So this is where China will get a direct connectivity, and I'll tell you why this is so important for China. But let us understand more about this economic corridor first. So as I've explained, the direct connectivity of the China-Myanmar economic border will be starting from Kunming. Then it will be passing through Mandalay. This is where it will be spreading into two regions. And the connectivity that we are talking with Bangladesh will come through ports. That is Chattogram port and also Mongla port, for which infrastructure has been assigned. So this is the connectivity that we are talking about between these three nations. And all this does what? Opens up Bay of Bengal for direct access from China. Now as I said, let us also understand that why this connectivity matters. This connectivity matters because when we are talking about Bay of Bengal, that means China has marked yet another entrance to the Indian Ocean. We have another few of the others, be it the Hambantota port in Sri Lanka, be it the Gwadar port in Pakistan. So China has yet another entry point into the Indian Ocean. Now what does this facilitates China to not depend on Strait of Malacca for trade, because anything that has to go from West Asia or Africa, that has to go through Strait of Malacca and then it can go towards mainland China. The connectivity here reduces the dependence on Strait of Malacca, which is another global maritime choke point. And as global maritime choke points are becoming the new tools for exercising influence in terms of geopolitics, this is where China wants to make sure that they are not hurt if at all this choke point is disrupted. Can you tell me in the comment section that which two particular points are connected through Strait of Malacca? Now, when we are looking at this situation, what it does for China, first it gives entry into the Indian Ocean, second it reduces dependence on Strait of Malacca, and third picture here is this directly strengthens China's bigger vision of Belt and Road Initiative. Connectivity in all forms will be directly assured right here. And this is where we need to understand that why China has revived this whole corridor. So when we are looking at this connectivity, I explained in terms of geopolitics, but let us look at the internal benefits that China can gain from here. The first economic benefit that China will easily get once the connectivity is facilitated from the Kunming region, that they will be able to develop the comparatively underdeveloped Yunnan province. They will be able to open the markets and expand exports here, and the regional connectivity will also be strengthened. Apart from that, as I said, this is an alternative. This facilitates energy security because China is dependent on energy imports which are coming from West Asia. So basically the Malacca dilemma that is reduced for China right here. And if you can see here, you will be able to understand when we are talking about connectivity, this is one connectivity that China has. The second one that we are talking, that is coming through Kunming region, and this the BMIC corridor that is not still in the picture, and the disruption any kind of air, which is the main connectivity point, that can be something that China can be secured from. But China wants to gain more advantages here. And the bigger advantage here is that they want a clear increased influence in South Asia. India might be proposing China plus one strategy, but China is becoming their only option, and that option is being exercised. This is being picked up, be it in Panama Canal when Panama country has become the member of BRI, and how we can see development of ports across Panama Canal which are handled by Chinese companies, or be it ensuring their interests in any form. So now China, what they have done, they have access to Arabian Sea via CPEC, they have access to Bay of Bengal through this proposed CMBC. Now this is where we also have to understand that this is a proposed infrastructure project, and at the very same time the making of it or the coming through of it might be possible or not possible. This is a proposed infrastructure project which is also laden with challenges, and there are no commitments that have come through yet. For example, when we are talking about the challenges itself, let us talk about Myanmar. Myanmar, which is providing the connectivity here, the main corridor is going to pass through the Rakhine state, and which is a conflict prone region. It has civil war, ethnic armed groups are present, and huge security concerns. So how that will be managed and how this will be materialized. Apart from that, when we are looking at Bangladesh, Bangladesh has not even said yes. They have said that the proposal, they are considering it, it is under examination and no final approval. Apart from that, Bangladesh has placed a condition. They have said that we want peace in Rakhine, and that is only when we can consider this. So, which is a conflict prone region in Myanmar, has been the reason of migration for many years as of now, and this has not been resolved till date. Just because Bangladesh has placed condition, this will be resolved. So this is a big obstacle that lies in front. Apart from that, Bangladesh also knows that this is not a deal that just comes with benefits. There are risks such as how they will be debt dependent on China. Bangladesh last year itself talked about sovereignty, how it wants to be independent of India's influence at all. But at the same time, Bangladesh is not looking to be dependent on somebody else. Bangladesh understands that how it might lead to security disruptions, and Bangladesh is also aware about the dynamics between India and China as well. Apart from that, how it is going to unfold politically in Bangladesh, that is also a major concern. But in the end, if it happens or it doesn't, the proposal itself has sent the alarm bells blaring in New Delhi. Because when we are looking at this, this has direct implications for India. Now let us look at certain important infrastructure projects, and I will give you an idea why we are talking about this. For example, when we are looking at the Trilateral highway, which provides connectivity from India to Myanmar and then Thailand. Or when we are talking about the Kaladan multi-modal project. This is where India needs to focus on intensifying. Otherwise, these projects also might become another Mongla port, where these projects might not be headed, but the ones with China will be focused on. And this might become a reality more than this and this. And whoever has the prominence here will be the main stakeholder of Indo-Pacific. When we are talking about Quad, and which is trying to reduce the influence of China in Indo-Pacific, contain China in Indo-Pacific, if India wants to be the regional player there, a key stakeholder there, then India needs to hold power here as well. India needs to be an influential regional power at least to have and do something in Indo-Pacific. And to ensure that, it is very important to know the implications, direct implications such as geopolitical. China will gain influence on the eastern flank. It has already influence on western flank. It strengthens their string of pearls, or if in simpler language we want to say encircling of India right around through port acquirement. And this will also have security implications, especially when we are talking about maritime security. Then, as I said, it will be challenged to the Indian connectivity projects, and that is why it is important when this is just a proposal, India accelerates connectivity and repairs the regional cracks that have come through. Put things right with Bangladesh, put things right with Nepal and also Myanmar. This is where our BIMSTEC cooperation, Sagar initiative, Act East policy and partnership with ASEAN, Japan, Australia and also Quad. But the unreliable member here being US, we don't know, but this is something that India can capitalize on. What are your thoughts on this? Let me know in the comment section. I'll be leaving you here with a prelims practice question. Let me know the answer to this in the comment section. I'll be waiting for your answers. That was all from my side. Thank you so much.